Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass Hero, and welcome back to The Letter. Previously, we had received a lot of drama bombs, but now we're on our way to the climax and the endings of the second chapter of the game. I wish the same could be said about what I'm about to do. Simple isn't the adjective I will use to describe the task at hand. Because, really, how does one tell their husband that they want to separate, and say that, no, this is not a divorce? Not yet, at least. The possibility is there. But still, how am I even to explain that to Luke without him throwing a fit? Cutting too deeply into my sausages, I open my mouth to excuse myself. That is, until I spy Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child. He has been silent, all the while, chin in his hand, elbow resting on the table. I worry that my absence after the debacle may have caused more harm than good.
Luke?
It's got you, it's not you. Okay, it's you.
I think we need a bit of a break. You know, some time apart.
At my words, he grows still and silent. I'm not quite sure if I should be worried or not. I take it as my cue to keep talking.
It's not permanent or anything like that. Just for a while.
So I want to add that the way Luke and Hannah's relationship evolves in the routes, there's about 3 different forms here. One is if you show the letter to to Rose rather, when you're playing as Isabella, which triggers basically a nasty route where they're fighting throughout the entire thing. It's a very different experience, almost like a separate route of Chapter 2. And right now we're on the positive route, although we've taken the negative aspects to it, so it's actually a little bit different. So it's kind of like those 3 main routes. There's a lot of content in this visual novel just because of that.
In a few days, perhaps. I was thinking I can move back into our penthouse in the meantime. But I won't be moving out right away. And I haven't even thought of packing yet. And I'll want to ask Johans to assign some of our staff. Unless you want the penthouse anyway. Then I'll stay here instead.
But if you want a happier kind of resolution with Hannah and Luke, this is the route to be on. You just have to be nicer to them. I think it ends up a lot different.
No, you take the penthouse. It'll be easier for you.
It isn't supposed to be this easy, is it? Can you really react so aloof to it?
Isn't this to your liking? I imagine that you'd like the space and independence. You'll have the bed and covers to yourself, and you can have whatever you want prepared for meals. You can even have all the wine you want, though I'd rather that you don't.
This isn't about that, Hannah. Well, it's partly that, but...
The man stops playing with his food, choosing instead to push the plate aside.
What's wrong, Luke?
He slumps back in his chair and just stops short of putting his feet up on the table. I suspect he's wanting some wine or absinthe by now, but any sort of alcohol is suspiciously absent in his hands. This means Luke is serious.
Aside from that disaster yesterday and you telling me you want a divorce, everything is peachy keen. Will you want me to start on the letters then? To start the divorce settlements and whatnot? Will you be seeking ways to throw me out onto the street without a penny to my name?
Technically, Hannah was actually already individually wealthy.
No, Luke, this isn't a divorce. I just told you this is only temporary. Are you really having a sulk because of what she said yesterday?
I am having a sulk because you believe her. You stormed out and now you're asking for us to split up? Soon enough, you'll want to throw me out like I'm a piece of trash.
Do you think I would be this calm if I believed her, Lucille Mitchell right?
Yeah, she does have a point there. I'll be honest.
Because believe me, if I did, well, it wouldn't be pretty. Besides, I know how you feel about children. It makes our whole statement laughable.
Sure, whatever you say.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and I can't bring myself to comment on his half-hearted reply. To me, the silence that follows feels oppressive. It only emphasizes the wall has been built up by my obstinance and his hubris. It looms between us, keeping us apart.
When are you leaving? In a week?
It won't take that long to pack. After All Saints, perhaps? I'll go and inform the staff of this.
He only nods. And I'll be lying if I said that didn't disappoint me. I expected more resistance. The man could be stubborn as a mule if he wants to be. Perhaps I can leave now, just to spite him. But that isn't like me. Even if this does end in divorce, a thing we both surely wish to avoid, we can still leave on amicable terms. There's no point in making a mountain out of a molehill.
What are you still doing here?
Oof.
Just leave. You still have some packing to do, don't you?
Oof.
Go ahead. I won't stop you.
Go ahead. And do nothing. There isn't much to do, it seems, whenever I step up to the plate and try to take responsibility for something. Perhaps because everything is already being handled by someone hired specifically for that job. And if Johan's overseeing the staff and Luke handling everything else as a whole, it doesn't leave much for me. I can't even take the job of delegation, because all it takes is a word to one of the senior staff and everything will be taken care of for me. Curiosity, I'm gonna see how this is going. We're getting near the end. We're getting near the end. I am curious how much nicer Luke is if you do choose the positive options. Because they do seem like they do love each other, but it's primarily Luke's fault, okay? Like, the flaws are mainly stacked on his side. Like, Hannah ain't perfect, but Hannah's relatively normal. Luke is, like, terribly flawed. And in the negative route, there is implications, like, he flirts with Isabella and Rose and Marianne and everyone, so he could be committing quite a bit of infidelity, which is definitely not a good thing. Moving in here a few days ago may have very well been the chore that took most of the effort from me. That didn't take any real effort at all.
Yes, Hannah, go buy a mansion in the middle of nowhere. Good idea. Great plan.
There are no dishes to set aside and busy myself with. Any mess left behind is now nearly non-existent. To sit on the counter while eating cake is supposed to be my next plan. Alas, there isn't even one to finish off, and I don't really know what brought me to the kitchens in the first place. Ghost? It's not like I'm craving anything else, nor do I have any unfinished business left here. But there's a calling to this room. Ghost? Speaking of calling, why not just do that? Might as well, since I have nothing else to do. At least that will require some effort on my part. If I'll cut off from the rest of Luxport, the mansion is, and of how long it was abandoned before we moved in, having a landline is out of the question. The solution, supposed to be, are mobiles, though it isn't much considering how spotty the signal is in the area. It'll take a bit of maneuvering to get even a single bar as it is. It takes a bit, as I said it would. I have to park my rear in one of the cold drawers, but that suits me just fine. The never matter that needs my effort is who to call. Oh, you know who. Ghostbusters. She who must not be named is certainly off the list. It doesn't leave much in the category of close friends who attended the party, along with the category of who else to wake at this early hour. But soon enough, I imagine the call goes through.
Hello, Rebecca Gales here.
I had a feeling you'd call Rebecca.
Who's this?
I don't think she trusts Marianne. I think there's a suspicion Luke may be sleeping with Marianne, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find that out later.
Good morning, Becky.
Hannah? Oh, wait, how did you get my number?
You responded to your RSVP through the phone. It's all saved in here, of course. I thought I'd like to say hi and make plans and get together sometime.
And she wouldn't confide in Zach, because Zach is a guy, frankly, and there is some sexual tension there, but it's not like a lot, but it's just enough where it's not appropriate.
Also, I'd love to hear news about your mother and father, and about you, my dear. Oh, I hope I didn't wake you up.
Oh, you're good. It's sports day at school today, so I was just prepping for that.
Figures that you'd be a teacher as well. I'm sure your students must absolutely adore you.
Don't know about that.
Mathematics?
History, actually. Anyway, it's real nice to know you've got my number. I was going to ask for yours because Mom wanted to keep in touch.
You could have asked, silly girl. I would have gladly given it to you.
Couldn't, though, because, well, the thing that happened. But really am sorry, though. I gotta run. School, schedule, stuff. Is there anything else you want to say? Don't want to use the mobile while driving.
Oh, of course, of course. I shouldn't keep you. But I wanted to thank you for your company yesterday.
Not a problem.
I was hoping you could thank Zachary on my behalf as well. He was really kind and wonderful.
Well, you can tell him that yourself if you want. I can give you his number.
Whoa.
Oh, no, I don't want to be a bother. Intruding on his privacy.
Pretty sure he'd be fine with it. If you two on a first-name basis and all. So his number, right, it's...
The call starts to go static, much to my frustration. The Let's Player commenting on this game realizes what this means, and he starts to raise his voice and give it a certain tone to add like atmosphere to the situation. He knows that this means we're most likely doomed, and a ghost tour is around the corner, so he keeps accentuating the conversation, adding things that are not supposed to be there, and dragging on the story. All for the sake of one extended long gag. That is the Let's Player. A strange clicking noise drowns out most of her words too. I can barely understand what she's saying. And the line completely dies. I can feel a headache coming along. It's just building up, starting from a light throbbing on one side of my head. The static is gone and that helps a lot. There is still that incessant horrible clicking. Again and again and again. Which doesn't make sense. The mobile's turned off, isn't it? And if it isn't coming from the phone, then where? Looking out, I can't help but let my eyes be drawn to the hatch leading to the wine cellar once more. That's when the clicking stops. I can hear that crying. The familiar crying from before. What happened the other day, when I was told that nobody should have been down there. I tried to forget because it unsettled me so. One can hardly do that while I'm looking at the very thing I'm trying to forget. Somebody's crying down there again. But if I leave it alone, it simply won't stop bothering me for the rest of the day. They might have forgotten to lock it while the party going on.
This again?
Don't go down, we've already dodged it
If
once.
somebody is pulling my leg, I will not be happy.
Oh no. True enough, all it takes is a bit of pull to open the hatch. I look down to the cellar. A sense of uneasiness washes over me. It isn't just a sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. The cries drown beneath the shrieks that start echoing in my head, high and shrill like nails being dragged across a chalkboard. They're all screaming, shouting at me. And I can just feel her rage. Help me. She wants to drown me, drag me down and crush me in the very depths of darkness, till there is nothing left of me. A deep abyss waits for me, for my death. They're all calling for it. This is a nightmare. There's a rope around my neck, and I can feel the rest of me being torn apart. Is this what the dialogue was like before? Yeah, when I did the switch over here, it's almost exactly the same. And they're still screaming. I'm screaming. Though it's not my voice that escapes my lips. It claws through, climbing up and forcing its way up to my throat like a putrid bile. I choke and gag, yet I scream and shriek all at the same time. And I'm me, but not me. Okay, QT time. So either way, this kitchen's a death trap for us. It pushes me down to my knees before I'm prone and vulnerable on my stomach. It makes me tumble, and I can just feel my whole body seizing, writhing on the floor. Everything and nothing hurts. It feels like I'm on the verge of death. And if I'm not dying, I nearly wish I actually am.
Hana? Hana, what is going on in here?
Oh no, nothing. It's just, you know, ghosts trying to possess me.
Why are you?
Prince!
Seeing Luke, something snaps back, and I'm able to take a gasp of air of my own volition, for the first time in what felt like centuries. I would have rejoiced and cried for his name, if the pain still did not rack my body. In safe hands. Instead, all I can do is stare listlessly as he comes to my side and lifts me up, cradling me in his arms. He tries to get me to my feet, perhaps to take me out of here. But all he's able to do is give me the sit, make sure I'm not trashing on the floor. I can still feel my muscles spasm, limbs jerking like a puppet's on a string. Luke holds me tight and keeps me still, so that I do not hurt myself anymore. Whatever it is that happened, it has my mind feeling frayed and battered. Eventually the pain dies down into a dull ache, and my own tongue stops feeling like cotton. It's only now that I can feel the wetness on my cheeks, tears streaking down my face. A coughing racks my body, and I don't feel like choking. It just all feels so horrible. But I don't care. I don't care.
Please!
What happened here? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
Shh, it's alright. You're safe now, Hana. You're safe now.
So this is... I went back, tried to see what the good route was like, as far as being nice with Luke and getting his relationship up. And it was actually pretty different. Luke is considerably nicer in that route.
He's energetic, and you aren't drunk. That, or you are getting better with handling your hangovers without your dog hairs. Should I be looking out the window to see if the sky has turned red and if pigs have started to fly?
I am unfortunately completely sober, Hana.
And this outcome for the party, I think, is a bit different. So I decided to show this. I won't be showing you the earlier parts of the route. So I think this is actually pretty important for some context and some scenes.
And how does it feel not being hungover?
Still miserable.
It'll get better.
Or so they say. You wanted to talk about something?
You know, for once, I wish you were hungover. Maybe this isn't the best time for this talk.
No, please. I do not like loose ends. And this is a bloody ugly loose end.
Then, first things first. I want you to be honest with me. Just between the two of us. Without others to impress. Without people listening in. Just you and me.
Did you or did you not sleep with Rochelle Lee and got her pregnant?
I didn't get her pregnant. But the thought of having a child with her? Can you just imagine it?
If anything, you can kind of see by this scene alone, not kind of ones I didn't show, that this game actually does legitimately have quite a bit of route divergence and gameplay differences based on your choices. The beginning of the game doesn't show it too much, but now, even things from Isabella routes is kind of coming into head and affecting the game, the plot, and the dialogue.
Or rather, don't.
So it's actually pretty well done in that retrospect.
I can already see it. It'll look like that ruddy pig boy from that Young Wizard book.
I don't care about Once Upon a Time.
There is some pacing issues. There's like some real bad down times in like the pacing.
What I'm asking is if you were with her the other night during my party.
But the structure of the visual novel was actually very good. Him not showing up in most of the gatherings I've hosted in the past is nothing new. Of course, the one I've had last week is no different. It's merely another thing I've gotten used to between us after things turned sour. But after Rochelle's outburst last night, I won't deny the feeling of disappointment. The betrayal. What's done is done, however, though at the very least I still want to hear the truth from him.
She made me meet with her the night of your party, but I swear, I only agreed to go so that I could tell her I wasn't having none of it. It isn't my baby. I don't even think it's Lee's. Poor bloke. I mean, I probably slept with her once. We were probably incredibly drunk, but that would have been a long time ago before she was preggo.
Are you sure, Luke? You're not making anything up or leaving anything out?
Of course not. I swear it on my mother's grave.
He swears it, he says, as he hands me the flower of such tenderness. And I believe him.
Well, if that's all you wanted to talk about, you shouldn't have made me worry.
For the sake of my sanity and for the sake of our marriage, I'll pretend that you never said any of that. Are you sure you aren't drunk now?
Haven't had a single drop and hating it.
Would you like something to drink? Because I'm not done. I have something else to tell you.
No thanks. Maybe I will after this little talk you wanted to have.
This is a very casual conversation for a husband admitting infidelity.
I already told you, and you already said you believe me that the brat isn't my child.
But knowing how this relationship works, Lucas probably obviously cheated in the past many times. And Hannah just kind of like deals with it.
I already spilled that I might have had drunken sex with her once, and you wish to wipe that off your memory. So do we have anything else to talk about? Because have at it, I'm all ears.
You're pretty miffed for someone who just admitted to his wife that he's cheated.
And you're stalling. I can tell that incident has you shaken up. So why don't you just spit it out and get this all over with?
I'm pregnant.
What? Come again?
I suspected this just from that one opening scene in the bathroom.
You heard me.
You've got to be kidding, right? This must be some kind of joke. Are you taking the piss at me? Because woman, I don't need a second fake pregnancy.
Instead of answering, however, I stay silent and let the matter of the fact sink into his head. His face heats up for a moment before he goes pale. This is actually, Hannah probably already long knew this, and that's why she was moving to buy a bigger house, actually. When you think about it, it makes perfect sense. He raises a hand in the hopes of asking for a drink, but the morning staff are still busy evicting the last of his inebriated companions. And he doesn't even bother to bark out orders, as if he's lost his very voice. Actually, he looks like he's on the verge of hyperventilating.
This is Hannah, darling. I need some air. How long have you been?
3 months.
Damn.
And the twins. Although we don't know yet if they're a boy or a girl or...
Maybe the ghost is targeting her because she's pregnant. It's kind of a cliche that sometimes the ghost targets the pregnant person because they're hoping to possess the baby and be reborn or something.
Or both.
Good God! Twins! I'm going to be a father to 2 tiny, tiny, tiny babies. Breathe, Luke! Breathe!
To add some more context in the positive route, he's much more open to the idea of having kids compared to the negative route.
Goodness, Luke, I'm the one who's pregnant here, not you.
No, don't touch me! Stay away!
Uh-oh. A scream cuts off my amusement, and without thinking, Luke and I rush to the foyer. There stands a crazed-looking chief inspector, crashing about as he tries to make it up the stairs while Johannes holds him back.
What is going on here?
Und tschüss. All the Schweinehunde must leave, including you, Chef Inspector.
This is a lot different than my other route.
This one is very problematic and will not leave.
No, you can't make me leave! I need to stay here for her! I need to help her!
Oh, Rochelle? She's probably already at home, dearie. Or she might have already gone and skipped town, who knows?
Oh, for the love of... There's no point talking logic in him. Lee, go home, you're drunk.
Can't you hear her crying?
Oh, the ghost.
She was crying, just weeping and in so much pain last night. I couldn't help her. Drunk, sobbing bastard that I am. But my help. She needs my help.
So everyone who comes to the party is in
Tell
trouble.
your fucking stupid lapdog to let go of me, Luke! Or I'm gonna knock him down and I'm gonna knock the 2 of you down too!
Language! I've already dealt with your wife, so don't make me deal with you, Lee. Or I swear I'll...
Hannah, enough. Don't stress yourself over him. It'll be bad for the twins. So go back to your breakfast and let me handle this, okay?
Are you sure?
Why wouldn't I be? Now, go ahead and do something less stressful.
Oh, here we go. She goes back to the kitchen. And I'm pretty sure we know what happens here. Anyway, that's it for this ending. Let's go and get the others. So we've pretty much cleared out the bomb round and that ending. So now we are on the middle route, which is basically determined by showing the letter to Rose. And the middle route is, if you can, quick showing here, is very different than the upper route. It's much more negative all the way through. And it's a completely different atmosphere, and I'm pretty much not having any of Luke's stuff, if you know what I mean. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never... He'll never go so far as to sleep with another woman, right?
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk?
That's not true. Is it, Luke? Please tell me she's just lost the plot.
Don't be a blooming muppet, Hannah. Of course she's lying, creating a scandal for attention. If the baby isn't Lee's, she's probably gotten herself knocked up by one of her employees, and she's accusing me for money. Fuck! How stupid can you be?
Excuse me. I just wanted to hear your word.
Maybe you need to, like, put down the wine, Luke?
There's no need for such crass language.
Yes, there is a need for such fucking crass language, because you've been nothing but a pain recently.
Sounds like you're the one sleeping around and becoming an alcoholic.
I told you not to invite her, and look what she's done. And not just recently, for a while in fact. I'm sick and tired of having to look after your clingy, spoiled ass. You've been derailing my schedule and my plans, questioning my priorities and my decisions.
Technically those plans have you been committing an infidelity. Or becoming an alcoholic.
You could be worse than a hormonal pregnant woman at times even. How touched in the head are you that I need to hold your hand?
Speak no more. We are done here, and we'll talk about these matters in privacy now.
No, why don't we hash it all out here? Because every time we talk about our problems in private, you start crying your fucking eyes out.
I should have expected this of Luke. To put us in the limelight, thinking I will back down because we have an audience. You're gonna learn this the hard way. Well, he has another thing coming for him, doesn't he? I'm just as livid as he is, because of his disrespect. Our happy marriage is quickly crumbling under our own 2 feet, yet I can't give a rat's ass. If this is how it goes, so be it.
You dare!
I dare.
Ooh, Drama Llama unlocked.
I dare, Buttercup, because I've kept quiet about this.
Oh, you've kept quiet about it? How rich!
Yes!
No, I've had enough of this! Do you think I don't see when you try to creep up some whore and get up her skirt? You would be nothing without me. Your company would be buried in debt and you'd be begging on the streets if it weren't for me!
She lies! Don't listen to her!
So I told you, I suspected Hannah was the one that was actually the most successful of the 2.
And I've had enough of you!
And she just kind of resigned herself to be a housewife afterward, which is a little bit sad. Especially since they don't even have kids yet, they can still both work and kind of fulfill life.
So guess what? Fuck you, Luke!
We agreed to never talk of this woman!
Did we? I don't remember. But it's all true. Wright Enterprise would be nothing but a precautionary tale if Evans Incorporated didn't agree to merge into a conglomerate. You asked that we keep your family name because you said it was so important to you. Your legacy. I agreed because, damn it, Luke, I loved you and I still do. But all you really want is the money and the power's all gone to your head. Face it, Lucille Mitchell Wright. You owe me everything.
I owe you everything. I owe you everything? Who's running the business now while you sit at home like a pretty princess?
If I recall, you told me to retire so that I can enjoy my time as Mrs. Luke Wright.
I wouldn't even bother with other women if you were still Hannah Evans. You used to be your own woman. You used to be someone who I could fucking look up to. Now look at you. If I wanted some brainless bint, I'd go to the whorehouse and play any old strumpet like a fucking fiddle.
God, this is so heavy.
That's all you are now. A brainless, good-for-nothing.
Slap him, yeah. A slap echoes in the ballroom. I didn't even realize I've lifted my hand against him. Not until he's already clutching his reddened cheek, eyes wide and unspoken curses hanging from his lips.
That's it! This party is over! Everybody leave before I have you all thrown out!
There is a shuffling, as a near-forgotten audience can't decide whether they are to mill about and wait for what might happen next, or do as instructed, or get popcorn, maybe a couple of drinks, maybe some churros. Their minds are made up for them as Luke storms toward the door, slams them open and roars.
Go!
And as if they are wakened from a trance, the crowd starts to leave one by one. Some of the noisier ones, media and the like, try to stay, but they are eventually dragged away by security. They slowly trickle out, from the busboys and the waiters to the musicians and the bartender. Even our butler leaves us, closing the door to the ballroom shut behind him. Then and there, I didn't know what to say. If I had to analyze Luke's psyche a bit, he is being somewhat honest when he says that he's lost attraction for Hannah because she's become more of a subservient in the relationship. Because if you notice the relationship points, when she challenges him, it actually goes up for Luke. By being subservient, it actually goes down. So that's true. It still doesn't excuse his behavior. And I think Luke is a type with the kind of contrast where he's so nice in the nice route, and when you're like assertive to him, and then he's so terrible in the other route, is I think if life does not go his way, he has terrible alcoholic anger issues. And he makes terrible decisions and says terrible things. So if he can't handle challenges in a relationship this early, it spells bad for the long run. I'm just saying. Should I apologize for striking him? Yet every part of me is still shaking in anger. I want to scream every bit of hatred I have for him, every ounce of bitterness, things I couldn't say before. But I also feel tired.
Oh, Hannah! What am I going to do with you?
He laughs. Laughs. Before I can respond, he leaves. To where? I don't know. I'll never find out, as I don't have the courage to follow him, or leave this room. We are going to be attacked by that ghost. Slumping into the nearest chair, all I can see is his face, red and wide-eyed. His empty laugh echoes over and over again. Only the walls act as my audience now, and I can feel their accusing eyes burn into me. There will be no sleep tonight. And come morning as we breakfast, the meal is silent and strained. I cut too deeply into my sausages and almost excuse myself. Have I not spied Luke mashing and stirring his poached eggs with a fork like a petulant child? Conversation is terse, though that is no big surprise. What else can you say after you've verbally lashed out at each other in public? Apologies seem like trifle things now, in comparison to what transpired last night. I'm not the one to rush when eating, but withdrawing sounds like the best course of action. I can leave the dining hall, hold myself up somewhere where I won't be bothered. And he has work today. I'd have almost gotten away with it too, if he did not speak up all of a sudden.
Hold on, wait. Don't go just yet. Please.
What is it, Lucille?
I have thought upon it, that perhaps I am at fault for what happened yesterday, and for your frustrations.
And the day before that, and the month before that, and the year before that.
I've been a neglectful husband, and if you would still have me, I hope to correct that.
This is one of those conversations they should have had very early on in the relationship. For some reason, this gameplay has turned into relationship advice, the playthrough. We only remember the ghost girl anymore. This is what this game has evolved into.
There's not much to do today for me, and I was hoping that we might be able to talk it out. If you are willing to still work it out with me, you will have my afternoon.
Ooh, bad opener. Bad opener. Sounds a little too high and mighty. Should be a little more grovelly.
Just your afternoon.
Yeah, see? Ooh, look at that. Let's get the popcorn out. Just like that Michael Jackson clip from the Thriller music video. He stands and approaches with steps, careful and wary. He treats me as if I'll take flight at any moment, and it'll be ridiculous if I don't find it even a tiny bit endearing. And when he stands before me, takes both my hands into his, ready with a declaration.
You will have my afternoon, and every moment after, for the rest of your life, if you are willing.
It's not a bad recovery. It's still not good, though. You're not apologetic enough. I hate it. I hate how he can easily make me fall in love with him all over again.
Just this one chance. If you don't show up, I may very well just pack my bags and go, you hear me?
Loud and clear. Off to work I go, then. Until later, Buttercup.
His grip is tight as he kisses my hand before letting it fall. I feel lighter in spite of it all. See, the stronger move is he skips work. Skipping work is the correct answer. This is a pretty serious relationship issue. That's the correct answer. Not the afternoon. Entire day is needed. Along with probably at least a good year to heal this relationship. Oh, whatever. It's doomed anyway. Everyone's gonna die to a ghost by the end. That leaves me the rest of the day with nothing, really. I thought I'll have to spend it making plans to leave this house and him. But instead, he has me worrying and feeling relieved at the same time. It is quite paradoxical. I still have plans to skew everything and everyone until the afternoon, which is proving to be quite difficult as, everywhere I look, Johann seems to appear out of thin air. I love our butler along with his wonderful husband and 2 darling children. But he never seems to understand the concept of privacy, or personal space at the worst of times. Really, the best character is Johann's, of this entire family. He's the only pure person in the household. The man is often quiet, even while he works, and I can forget that he's there with no trouble. It's a principle of things, however.
What are you doing?
He's told me to look after you. This isn't going to turn out well, you know.
Pardon?
You should just leave. If I were you, I'd left a long time ago. You have the choice to do so, you know.
See, Johann's is pure.
Not everyone does.
Is that what you've been stalking me all morning for? To tell me to leave my husband?
It is not going to turn out well, mein Freund.
You're making me cry, Johann's. You're making me cry. Your concern is just so heavy. Looking back at Johann's, I see his usual indifferent expression painted with concern. He still stands tall and his body betrays no emotion. But his mouth is set into a grim, harsh line, and there's a slight furrow in his brow. Curious and minute details that one won't find unless they care to look. And these little things trouble me. Still, if he believes that I will leave when Luke has extended an olive branch to me, well, he's wrong.
And that's your opinion, Johans. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to be left alone with my thoughts, please.
You tried, Johans.
If you'd like privacy, I suggest finding it somewhere else then. Somewhere outside the house, maybe?
I'm going to my room. Tell Luke that I'll be waiting for him there.
Oh, that's a death trap.
I'd really rather not.
That's an order, Johans.
Remaining hours pass with little fanfare, as my wish to be alone is respected. I only see Johans again when he brings me my supper. Boobalese along with squid ink brooch, something I haven't requested, but I'm grateful nonetheless. Alright, now that looks good. Once more after that, they clear my plates away and inform me that Luke is back home. Did you really have to open up with the 40s sitcom opener? Hearing him call for me fills me with a certain dread, for reasons I can't comprehend. Perhaps I'm just nervous about this little talk of ours. Yet something at the back of my head is nagging at me. It is irrational, but I feel myself freeze in trepidation. I have to will myself to breathe, when I'm conscious of the fact that I've been holding it in. So here's the other mistake. He's being way too cute considering the situation. This is a very play-it-straight situation. It's not time to be cute. It is with unease that I answer.
Upstairs, Luke!
There's a moment when I'm nothing but a bundle of nerves. His footsteps echo from the hallway, and the creak of the door sends chills down my spine.
Here I am expecting a warm welcome home, and here you are locked up in the room like a shut-in.
Oh gee, I wonder why.
Oh, Hannah, what am I to do with you?
Yeah, he's still being cute. That's real bad.
You're looking a little bit pale. Are you all right?
I must have had something funny, actually. Maybe from the party last night. Maybe breakfast or lunch.
Is it the boobalese or the brooch?
Johans had been acting really strangely while you were gone. Do you think?
Do I think what? That he poisoned you? Don't be silly. He wouldn't do such a thing unless I tell him to.
He jokes and laughs. It does nothing to ease my nausea and only makes my stomach churn even more. Are you up to something? I was a little curious why you were being so cute when you came in. I thought, is he up to something? No, that's too many twists within a twist. I try to smile and laugh along, but I cannot put on a fake face this time. Oh no! He just went to buy time to do the papers today. Noticing my discomfort, he pulls me into his arms. In his hold, I feel safe, you shouldn't. Or I should be, at least. But there's still a stirring restlessness inside me.
Don't you worry. If you are sick, I'll take care of you myself.
Okay, so Luke does have, no redeemable traits. He had a small amount, but now we can confirm, there's no reason to feel bad for him.
I did tell you that you'll have my afternoon and every moment after for as long as you live, didn't I? I am just so worried about my poor wifey. That Rochelle woman had some nerve, and I've insulted your honor so. My poor wifey has been through so much.
Is when I feel his hold turn painfully tight, that the dread turns to fear.
My poor, spoiled wifey, Hannah fucking Evans. Silver spoon in her mouth, never had to lift a finger in her goddamn life.
You already know that's not true.
Poor wifey trying to ruin everything for me. All that I've worked so hard for. She'll just take it all away. Just like that.
Now, let's be realistic. You just had a fight with your wife last night in front of everyone. The first one they'll suspect of killing her is you.
We've got to fix that. You know, you and I, we have to make sure you don't pull a dodgy stunt like the one you did last night. Even if we have to take you out of the picture.
Please save me, ghost girl.
Permanently.
Yes, as he presses something sharp to my back that I realize far, far too late when he holds in his hands.
Why are you doing this?
My life is in his hands, held hostage at a knife's edge.
Because, Hana, darling, it's never enough. I want it all.
And he wishes to end it. Does he not love me anymore? Has our ties eroded so badly that they'll even go this far? This is preposterous. Surreal. I wonder if this has to do with the ghost. Yet here I am, frozen in his embrace while he holds a knife to my back. The very man I love and trust the most is the one to kill me. And sadly enough, this is the longest he's held me in a long while. It is a contradiction, both beautiful and horrific. How did it come to this?
You don't have to do this. You can still have it all, Luke. Just please. Don't you love me?
That makes him pause.
Oh, I still do, Hana. I do love you, but you're outliving your usefulness. In fact, you're becoming a pain in the arse, just like your dear old dad.
Another twist within a twist within a twist.
Oh, I'm doing you a favor, and you'll be with him again. Real soon.
Dignity his grace has forgotten. It's become a blubbering mess, begging to be spared. Please spill from my lips prayers to Luke for his mercy because please, I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go. I still want a family, our family, and I want to do more. I can't help but cry about the things I could have, should have been. A husband, children, and a home. But I'm going to be cut short. It's an awfully timed pun. My pleading falls on deaf ears. And although I don't feel it immediately, the way he loosens his hold on me says as much. There's no pain at first, only shock, until a dull throbbing radiates from my back. It's like an itch that I can't reach, which gets worse and worse until it is all I can focus on. I panic as the pain becomes too much to bear, and I wish nothing else but for death to consume me now. My body spasms, trembling and shaking, and the pain fires up anew when Luke, the monster, twists the knife deeper. Breathing is next to impossible. Every time I try, it only feels like I'm drowning. Soon enough, I taste blood on my tongue like copper, yet both salty and sweet. And here I am, laughing like a bloody loon, though my laughter is nothing more but a wet, raspy chuckle. Slowly, I am losing myself.
What's so funny?
Deeper and deeper yet. He starts laughing.
We would have been so beautiful.
You just murdered your kids. I drown in his laughter. You've unlocked a memory fragment. So here's the final branching of the Hana route. We're gonna go for the next ending. And as far as the canon ending I'll pick. So far I've been picking the endings with the memory fragments, being the one of Isabella, the first ending I got. So whichever one has the ending fragments, that's the route I'm going to be going from.
I'm so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot talking nonsense, that's all it. You're not allowed to...
Nothing to see.
Take that troll up out of here immediately. And see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxborn.
To be banned from anything with the right name on is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxborn, and there isn't a single establishment of repute that isn't on our patronage one way or another. This is Mercy. I can do much worse to her. At least this way, she can just move out of the city and never ever return. I have stayed my hand in the face of a grievous fault, her bold-faced lies, and when she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, have her factories shut down. It is too easy to ruin her life until she is just nothing. It is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time I can still hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and don't interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I have done, and that spurs me on more than anything.
Everyone, please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
You heard her! Strike up the band, maestro, and let us dance like fireflies in the night!
It takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favor of merriment and alcohol. He offers me his hand to me with a small smirk and a bow.
Well, that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
Hannah's acting a bit out of character, actually.
Milady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
When you go in with knowledge from the other routes a little bit, things like change a lot in context. No one's gonna get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snooty scrubber. Not some common whore and ambitious maid. No one is going to get near him in that manner. Not while I am around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. Dawn of the final day. 2 hours remain. The day after proved to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections. A man of the people. He's always talking to one person or another. And I'm always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I have to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is make sure I have his time while he's here, which in and itself isn't as easy as it sounds. Not that bloody valet of his tailing him around.
Johans! Where's my tie? I can't find it anywhere.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
Especially since your sprite doesn't change. It isn't often that I'm awake this early, or at least early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending to him. It's an old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He's able to dress himself after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have something else to do this tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it instead.
I've got it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh?
See, she's using the word prince a lot. She uses it in the other ending, too, where she lives.
Here I thought you'd be knackered by all the dancing we did last night at the party.
I think something's up. I think there was something maybe up with Luke in the one bad, well, not really a bad ending, but the other ending also.
And after that, well...
A saucy little wink and smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with a smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It is intoxicating. And the sight of the two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help it if I feel a bit resentful that another person can get to do this for Luke every morning, when I could have done it myself? No, I can't.
You're dismissed, Shroken. I have this. Go on then. You'll be summoned if you're needed.
There's a curious look, furrowed brows, before any sign that he cares is wiped from his expression.
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. It feels like an eternity without him here, in this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the match is really growing on me, slowly but surely. I want to be at his side, yet he fails to see such an obvious thing.
Business. Where else?
Why can't you just work from home? You can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup.
I'm wondering if the ghost is attracted to Luke. Like he has a parallel to the previous owner.
Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you? It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before. You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all. I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
Yeah, see, the dialogue, Hannah seems out of character. I'm wondering if the ghost is manipulating them both mentally to get its ideal situation. He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. Is he feeling ill? That's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm just being a good wife, worrying about my husband and all.
Be good, dear. And stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property.
Don't you mention Zach.
I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I only need him.
I'm going to be late, Hannah. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet waits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day, when he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either. But I ignore him in favor of the one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter, as I see the way his eyes close during a moment of passion. Parting for air, I can only smile.
Have a good day, my prince.
Right. Off I go.
See, even Luke kind of thinks something's up. I still don't want him to leave. He should just stay. Forever.
If you could let go of my hand, please, Hannah.
It's just so hard to let go when I finally have him in my grasp. To watch him enter his car and leave pains me so. It leaves behind an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until he returns.
If it fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood until he returns.
Leave and go practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Yeah, Hannah, that's out of character for you.
Peculiar.
See, look, he says it. When I turn around to his sentiment to leave, he's already gone, and that suits me just fine. I want to be alone, without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, with only these halls as company. These damn halls which hold our memories. Just he and I. There's no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserve nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in the attic. But realizing my feet have brought me in here. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it gets to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear whispering, and curiosity gets the better of me as I look under the bed. There in the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel. Though it's not merely what my hand searches for as I reach for it. It takes quite an effort, but soon I am able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, lies a pendant warm and familiar. And I swear, if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So without delay, I hide in our room. I'm really curious if Luke was under the influence of the ghost too. I'm really curious about that. It would explain his such sudden departure of character, but he could just be a bad well, he already is a bad person, but, worse than we thought. We'll probably find out in the final chapter, since that's Luke's chapter, apparently. In front of the vanity, I see the ways my eyes shine, as I remove the clasps of my old necklace and put on this new one. If it's a lot better than the old one. I can feel as it weighs on my chest.
Right where it belongs.
Oh no, Hannah. The screaming stops and dies down. It's a moment of reprieve and I want to believe that I'm finally safe. But it's quiet. Too quiet.